Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Sunday, February 7th, 2016. This is episode 243. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week, and if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show and you'll come back in the future. As you can see, we are sans Callie once again this week. She is a bit under the weather and in fact lost her voice this morning, so she said she wouldn't be able to contribute much without being able to talk, so she decided to stay home today, and we're going to go ahead and record the show without her. So she has been sick a lot this month, so your well wishes and things of that nature are always appreciated on her part. But we will forge ahead. So, let's do a quick week in review. This week I had a rather rough week at work. Just a lot of things I can't really go into here on a public forum, but just a lot of stress and things and whatnot. In fact, I did take a personal day on Tuesday. I needed a little bit of time away. Wednesday we had parent-teacher conferences, so that was a rather long day. I didn't get home till after 8 o'clock. And then Friday I came home, and Andy was already home, and he said, you're really lucky. And I said, why is that? He said, because we're going to take a nap. And he said, then you're going to take me out to dinner. And then he says, we're going to go buy a new TV and a PS4. And I said, okay. He does not ask for much, but when he wants something, that's usually the pricey things, but it's rare and far and few between when he asks for something. So, and I'm always bringing in stash and whatnot, and he never says no to me. So, we took a nap, we went out and had a steak dinner, which was okay. We hadn't been to the restaurant in a couple of years, and it just seems like they've gone downhill a little bit. But anyway, then we went to Best Buy. He picked up his PS4 and his game that he wanted. PS4 is PlayStation 4. He's been wanting it for, about a year since it came out, and it's been pricey, And then we upgraded TVs. We previously had a 47-inch TV in our living room, which we've had for about 6 years, and that was a big improvement from what we had before. But then we upgraded to a 65-inch, top-of-the-line Sony, and he had a budget, which was, very expensive for a TV, but we kind of blew that budget out of the water because I told him, I said, if you want something and you're going to spend that much, what he had budgeted, on a TV, you might as well get everything you want and then some. So we got one of the new Sonys that are the really extremely thin TVs and has all the bells and whistles on it. It's a 4K TV, which is like the new... what do you call it? The new technology. Netflix is starting to stream some of their larger shows in 4K. You have to have the internet to back it up, and I think we do, so that's good. The picture is so super crisp and clear, and it's just really cool what technology can do these days. So we got that all set up. He's enjoying playing his video game right now while dyeing yarn on the TV, so... yeah, I'm going to be recording, so there's that. So that was kind of fun. He doesn't really plan when we go and buy these things, like when we bought the truck or bought our Mac for the business. Like, he's just, one day, nope, we're just going to go drop a large lump sum of money, so that's alright. Boys and their toys, right? So, let's get to the knitting, shall we? The first thing is my Portage sweater by Melissa Shishwari. I'm using Elspeth Levold Silky Wool in color number 65, which is spruce. And it's knit on 5, 6s, and 7s. And I did finish the first sleeve. I got the cuff done. And I did a sewn bind off. So you do the double thick cuff and you fold it back. Now, for being a sewn bind off, and I thought it would be relatively stretchy, this is a very tight fitted sleeve on me. Very fitted. So I like to roll up my sleeves, on sweatshirts and sweaters. But this one will only go to about 3/4 length before it can't. go any looser. So, I mean, it'll be fine. We'll see how I like it. If not, I can always rip out the bind off and do something different, I guess. I don't really know what would be, I guess I could try. I've never tried Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, to be honest with you, so maybe that's what it needs. But the first sleeve is done, and in fact, I have picked up for the second sleeve. So I'm on track to get this done for Knitting Pipeline. So I tried it on. I'm hoping with blocking that the garter stitch collar and band down the front will sit nicely. It's kind of wanting to curl up, and so we'll see once I get it blocked. I guess I could always tack it down, but that just makes it less, less, I can't do much with it in the future if I tack it down or, make adjustments or whatnot, so. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry if you hear guns in the background. That would be boys and their toys, so you'd think he'd turn it down while I'm recording, but he goes, it's his house too, so, and it is, so. So sorry about that if you hear it. Alright, moving right along, my Totally Tubular Year in Review cowl for 2015. I am working on that. I have finished the Year in Review set, which, by the way, if you're interested, there are still some remaining Year in Review mini skein sets in the shop, in both Show Stealer and Showstopper. So, because when I make a set, I make 10 of them. So, there were some extras after pre-orders were closed. So, I did have some people say, no, don't add the gray. It's so drab against the fun, bright colors. But I'm okay with that. And this, I'm adding in some London Fog on Show Stealer. This is out of Lady Men Fiber Arts in our Show Stealer base. The Year in Review set, so you can see all 10 colors here. And I've just added in the gray. So I had a short skein. It was about 50 grams of London Fog. And so I actually think it's going to work out nicely because it's going to be about a third of the length of the cowl will be in London Fog. So the third that hangs on the back of the neck, and then you'll have the fun colors up front. So as you can see here, we've got Beanstalk, Masquerade, Punk Rock Highlights, Boyhood, OMG Squee, Venetian Sunset, Mornings in the Backyard, Kaleidoscope, Turkey Run, Complete Imagination, and then I'm adding on the London Fog. So this is going to be simple and just keep going and going and going. And I'll have to graph the two ends together when it's done. And I do have a finished object to show you, and I totally forgot, but I'm going to finish with my works in progress first. So, the last thing on my needles is Midnight Ocean by Louise Zass Bingham. I'm using Twisted Fiber Art Aerial Base in the Large Evolution in the Gypsy colorway, which looks like this. And I've gotten to a new pattern stitch. It's the Medium Waves pattern stitch. So it's got this lacy neck part, and then I don't know if you can see the waves going this way. Anyway, it's going to be a collar cowl that can go over the shoulders, kind of a ponchette, if that's what you call them. So, I'm working on that right now. Excuse me. Ugh. I want a nap so bad today, but I've got to work in the morning, so. And it's supposed to snow tomorrow, and I'm like, ooh, snow day, but I already have Friday off because we did 2 nights of parent-teacher conferences. We're going to have another night of them on Tuesday, so we actually get Friday off. So I'm like, I don't really want a snow day, but I do. Anyway, I finished my Shamrockin' socks out of Knitterly Things Vesper sock yarn in the Shamrockin' colorway. And I knit this on size 1 US, which is 2.25 millimeters. I really like the fabric a lot better. These are not blocked. I just finished the heel on the second one this morning. And let's see if you can notice an issue here. So they're lined up. Look at first sock to second sock. I have no idea how I added that much more length in the second sock. I really don't. The only thing I can think of is I just thought of this, my row counter. I have one of the knit kits, and I really like it, but sometimes when I hit the 10 mark, it doesn't roll over the 10 number. So like if I'm at 19, sometimes instead of going to 20, it'll go back to 10. So the only thing I can think of is maybe something didn't count or didn't roll over and I didn't notice it. Anyway, this one fits a little loosely, but actually really well. This one's actually a little snug. So I need to find the happy medium because this is my first time knitting on a 1 rather than a 1.5. But they do fit, and they're for me anyway, and I wear socks as house socks anyway. So, but that is a significant difference. That's like 5 more extra stripes past. So, yeah. This heel I actually split at the yellow, and I got it to work out pretty well where I left off at the yarn. This one I just picked up where I was after I finished the first heel. And as you can see, it's a little bit different, but again, it's a heel. It doesn't really matter. And it doesn't mess up the striping on the front of the foot, which is all that I really care about. So, I did pick up extra stitches in the corners, and I'm seeing little holes in both corners, which is upsetting, but is what it is. So, these are done. And I think I'm going to hold off on casting on another pair of stripy socks for just a little bit until I finish that year in review cowl. So, what's in rehearsal, you ask? Are you going to cast anything else on? I wasn't, but then I realized that I did do the first SSK Knit Along, which is the Super Summer Knit Together hosted by the Knit Girls. It's a retreat hosted in Nashville, Illinois, where I will be attending and bending this July. And the first knit-along they did, they're doing knit-alongs with each of the teachers that are coming. And the first one was Rosemary Hill. And I did the Miss Swiss, which I've been showing off. I showed you the finished object last week. And I got that done in the nick of time and entered so I could get extra door prize tickets. And I said, well, you know, if I did one, I should probably try to do as many as I can. So I just spent some time going through the second designer, who is Baby Cocktails, Thea Coleman. And her knit-along goes from February through March. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So I went through and I was just going through her patterns. I was like, I don't know. And you get an extra door prize ticket as well if you use one of the vendors' yarns that are going to be vending there. Well, for the Miss Swiss, I used one of Leading Men Fiber Arts, but I don't want to do that for all the knit-alongs. I want to show some love to some of my friends and fellow indie dyers. And so finally, I was going through the patterns and hemming and hawing, and I said, well, you know, is there anything already lined up in my queue? And three of her patterns I had already put in my queue for potential projects. Now, as I've told you, every single skein of yarn that I own has a project attached to it in my queue. I've gone through and done that just for something fun, and that way when I pick a yarn, I already have a project paired with it. So I went through the 3 projects, and lo and behold, one of them already had yarn attached to that. And that pattern is the London Mitts, again by Baby Cocktails. And I looked at the yarn that it called for, and it called for that I had already paired with it, and I had paired with it another Crafty Girl merino worsted, and another Crafty Girl is going to be vending at SSK, so I don't even have to finagle yarn for this project. It was already paired together. And so I had picked up this, I believe, at last year's SSK. And this is her merino worsted, which is 215 yards in the Glowing Red Eyes colorway. I think I got this at SSK last year. But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. If not, I got it at Pipeline or maybe Stitches. I don't know. We do a lot of shows together because we are not too far apart from each other, about 3 hours from each other. So I will be, in fact, seeing her at Knitting Pipeline here at the end of the month. So But I'm going to be knitting the London mitts out of this. So the London mitts are have a simple twisted stitch cable going up the side of one of the mitts. It calls for worsted, about 200 to 250 yards. So that's that. Alright, moving right along. Behind the scenes, my spinning. I did finish plying the Leading Men Fiber Arts BFL Silk and Swamp Thing that was plied with the Leading Men Fiber Arts Polworth in the Dreamweaver colorway to make the Swamp Weaver skein of yarn. So I did get a total of 240 yards of a 2-ply DK weight, and it looks like this. So you can see the lovely sheen of the green BFL silk, toned down just a little bit by the blue Polworth. So I'm super happy with it. It is not going to go immediately into the shop because I have no handspun currently in the shop, and I need to get at least a couple skeins ready to go for YarnCon in April. So I'm afraid if I put it directly in the shop, it's just going to go before YarnCon, and I'm going to have like nothing to go to YarnCon with. So I'm going to hold on to this for a little bit, but I'm extremely pleased with it. And I'd love to see how it knits up with that marled effect. It'd be really interesting to see. So I showed you my next commission spin, which is Diabolical's 85% Polworth wool, 15% Tussa silk in the Caucus Race colorway. And I've started spinning that very, very minimally. But it's black, purple, and green. See there? So I'm doing a 2-ply fractal spin on that as well, so I'll show you more as we get there. I've gotten just once through the bobbin. I'm not even starting my way back yet. Alright, what am I watching and reading? I'm still watching Teachers on TV Land. I'm enjoying that. If you like a little small half-hour comedy about some dysfunctional elementary school teachers, I'd highly recommend that. And we did catch up on X-Files. The 3rd episode is just, I don't know. It was kind of a nod to the huge X-Files fans, I guess. I read something about it, but it was just, we were like, what is going on? It was more like a comedy. It was weird. So there's that. I didn't finish anything reading-wise, so I don't really have anything to report there. Do I have anything else I need to review or anything? I don't think so. No stash enhancements, so that's good. So let's move into a round of applause. Last week I told you about Prairie Bag Works DPN wrapper, which looks like this, and I put up a thread on Ravelry. You must have been a member of the group, and to post what would you use this DPN wrapper for. And I believe we had about 32 or 36 entries, and the winner was number 4, who is Donna Briz, who is Donna from Princeton, Massachusetts, and she said she would use them for Crenate, which was a Rachel Coopy sock pattern. So I'm a huge fan of Rachel Coopy. Still haven't knit anything by her, even though she's designed stuff out of our yarn. So congratulations, Donna. Would you please email me, Dramatic Knits on Ravelry, letting me know that you're aware that you won, and give me your first and last name and mailing address, and I will get this out to you as soon as possible. Alright, in January, we had the patterns you had been gifted knit along, or it could also be patterns knit from a book or magazine, whether that be from your personal library or local library. And I believe we had about 30 entries in this. And when I pulled for a winner, the winner was number 29, who is Wellwoman, and that's Isobel from Derbyshire, or that might be totally Americanized the way I said it, United Kingdom, and she knit a baby hat from a book. So congratulations, Isabel. If you would, contact Calisters, Calsters, on Ravelry and let her know that you're the winner. Callie is donating $10 worth of patterns. So if that's one pattern for $10, or do you want to split it up into, 5 $2 patterns, However you want to split it up, you have won $10 worth of patterns able to be gifted through Ravelry. So congratulations. In the month of February, we have our red/pink knit along. You could knit anything you want under the sun as long as it contains some red and some or some pink. Red or pink, at least some in your project. It qualifies. It doesn't matter how large or small of a project. Each finished object gets you an entry into the drawing. If you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts, you can post your FO picture twice in the FO thread. The prize for our red/pink knit along is a skein of Sincere Sheep hand-dyed fibers and yarns using the finest natural dyes. And this is Cushy, which is 10% cashmere, 80% superwash merino, 10% nylon, fingering weight, 432 yards in the Be Mine colorway. So there's that. This was generously donated by a lovely benefactor of the podcast who asked to remain anonymous, but I thought this worked for our red and pink knit along, so there's the prize for our February knit along. January came to a close, so our January Race to the Finished Object contest also has come to a close. We had two wonderful prizes. The first prize was some Shalimar Yarns Breathless Cush in the black truffle colorway and a little bit of leftover in the Neptune colorway. This is a bulky weight, 145 yards, a 75% superwash merino, 15% cashmere, 10% silk. And the winner for that was post number 104, which is Cthulhu Loves Me, which is Jen from Glendale, California, and she knit a gorgeous red hat. So Jen, would you please contact me, Dramatic Knits, on Ravelry, and let me know your first and last name and mailing address. I know you won from us before, but I don't tend to keep everybody's information, so if you'll send me your information one more time, I will get that yarn out to you as soon as possible. The second prize winner is a pattern from our featured designer, and that winner was post number 373, who is Carolyn47, and that's Carolyn from Dartmouth, Canada, and she knit a lovely pair of purple socks. It was like a speckled with a white and purple speckled yarn with purple toes, heels, and cuff, and they're beautiful. And so, Carolyn, you've won a pattern from our featured designer, who is Megan Sanders. You can look her up on Ravelry, or I've linked to her through our show notes, which can be found at dramaticknits.com. And let me know what pattern you'd like from Megan, and I will let her know, and she'll gift it to you. So congratulations to Carolyn and Jen for the month of January. So February has started, and I've opened up the February Race to the Finished Object contest. Again, we have two wonderful prizes. The first is some Knit Picks Wool of the Andes Superwash in the colorway Grass. I have two skeins of this. It is 100% superwash wool, 110 yards, worsted weight 50 grams, machine wash, tumble dry low. So you get pretty much a skein of worsted for the prize. The second prize is again a pattern from Megan Sanders. She will be with us throughout the month of February and March. So so I think that's it for our regularly scheduled show. It's going to be a little bit shorter this week. I'm going to move into center stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. If you're not interested, we'll say adieu till next week, where hopefully Callie will be back with us and better than she is this week. So let's talk about our knit along going on in the Leading Men Fiber Arts group on Ravelry. We're doing a totally tubular knit along where you knit a tubular cowl using any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts. I'm doing mine out of the Year in Review kit, but you could just use a single skein. Pretty much all you have to do is provisionally cast on, knit in the round until you're almost done, and then graft the two ends together and you have a double thick cowl. So we have some chatter going on in there, FO pictures being posted. You must be a member of the Leading Men Fiber Arts group, and the yarn must be Leading Men Fiber Arts. The prize for that will be a $20 gift certificate to our shop. I do want to remind you that we will be vending at the Knitting Pipeline Spring Retreat here at the end of February in Washington, Illinois. Something that's new this year, which is really awesome, is even if you're not attending the retreat, but you're within driving distance of Washington, Illinois, the vendor market, which is going to be Saturday from 2 to 4 p.m., will be open to the public, completely free. And, it's not a huge amount of vendors, but there's probably about 10 of us, plus the local yarn store sponsors will be setting up small areas. It's not full-on booth space, it's tabletop shows, but some big names are going to be there. Fat Squirrel is going to be there, Joanna Spring of Knit Spin Farms, Sun Valley Fibers is going to be there, Another Crafty Girl is going to be there, Yarn Geek Fibers is going to be there, Two Guys Yarn Company, Leading Men Fiber Arts, Prairie Bag Works is going to be there, Kitchen Counter Crafter. There's a ton of wonderful, wonderful names that are going to be there, and I'm looking forward to just going to the retreat myself. So there's quite a few friends I want to catch up with. Callie, unfortunately, it was not in the cards for her to attend this year, but I'm looking to be there. If you see me at the Knitting Pipeline Retreat, please know that I am actually rather introverted, so I do have a few friends that will be there, and I tend to stick with people that I know because I get really insecure about approaching people. So just come up and say hi and start a conversation with me. It will be cool. Just know that if I'm not up and being around and buzzing around and talking to everybody, it's nothing against you guys. It is just all insecurity is in me. So I think that is it in terms of that. I do want to tell you about our February colorway of the month. I mentioned it last week, but I forgot to bring up a skein. We do only have pre-orders open through tomorrow, Monday the 8th. However, it's not been a huge seller this month, so we will probably have a lot that rolls over into the stock in the shop anyway, because I had 2 skeins of everything. Every base dyed up in this colorway, and like I said, not a whole lot of it sold yet, and I think part of that is because I haven't shown it to you guys. I did post it on Instagram, but this is the colorway Steady Beat, and I have it here on our Spotlight base, which is 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon fingering weight, 400 yards. And it's got 2 different shades of red and a pink. And the Spotlight base has a wonderful, now it's going to blow out the screen, but it has a beautiful high twist on it. This is great for people who are hard wearing on socks, or you want it to be very, very durable. This is a great base for that, and we do have the Spotlight back in stock, so that makes us super happy because we were out of it for a while. Our supplier was back ordered on it. So this is Steady Beat. And then we did add a few things to the shop this week. Not much, but a few. Like I said, we're prepping for show season. So we have, I think, 2 braids of Seaweed on Superfine Merino. And then I have 2 braids of Love Potion number 9 on Superfine Merino. And then on Dramaturg, our DK weight, I have some Into the Woods. And then also on Into the Woods, we have it on Spotlight. And then lastly on Spotlight, we have a skein. Actually, I think there's 2 skeins, maybe 1, I'm not sure, of Man of Mystery. So lovely teals and blacks and a very dark purplish gray. So like I said, not much, but keep your eyes peeled. We don't do scheduled updates. That's something we've never done. But I always do post things on Instagram as Leading Men Fiber Arts, our Ravelry group, which is Leading Men Fiber Arts, and our Facebook group. You can find us as Leading Men Fiber Arts on there as well. If you haven't joined the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group, come on over and do so. We'd love to have you over there and participating in our knit-alongs and opening threads and starting discussions. You can always find the show at our website, which is dramaticknits.com. You can find it on iTunes. If you would, please leave a star rating or written review. And you can always find the show on YouTube as well. We'd love if you'd subscribe to us and give us a thumbs up on this week's episode. So, until next week, I hope you knit something dramatic.